أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبالحق أنزلناه وبالحق نزل وما أرسلناك إلا مبشرا ونذيرا وقرآنا فرقناه لتقرأه على الناس على مكث ونزلناه تنزيلا. قل آمنوا به أو لا تؤمنوا إن الذين أوتوا العلم من قبله إذا يتلى عليهم يخرون للأذقان سجدا ويقولون سبحان ربنا إن كان وعد ربنا لمفعولا ويخرون للأذقان يبكون ويزيدهم خشوعا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. الفاتحة بعد الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Inshallah, we have a nice program set up for you today and all throughout the nights of Ramadan. Just before we introduce Imam Elahi to the podium, I just want to give you a brief introduction on the topics that he's been going through. Currently, up until now, Imam has been doing Nahjul Balagha studies, dissecting the letter of Imam Ali alayhi salam to Harith al-Hamdani, going through it step by step, reading the tafsir so that we can take as much information as we can out of it. And inshallah, he plans on finishing this letter soon. And for those individuals who are interested in taking notes on his lectures, or if you've missed previous nights or didn't catch some of his lectures that he's given in the past, then you can conduct your own research and turn those notes that you compiled in to hopefully win a prize. And inshallah, he will continue on tonight, further dissecting this letter to Harith al-Hamdani. So please welcome him to the podium with a loud Sallu ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Yeah, we do have copies of those letters for those that are interested, that are inside the office. I'll be bringing them here. So if you'd like to have a physical copy so that you can follow along, you can come and grab one from me.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We don't have too much time really before our guest speaker come. I go through another paragraph of this letter 69 of Nahj al-Balagha. This is of letter of Imam, not the sermon, not the other words, but the letters of Imam Ali in number 69. إياك ومقاعد الأسواق فإنها محاضر الشيطان ومعارض الفتن وأكثر أن تنظر إلى من فضلت عليه فإن ذلك من أبواب الشكر. So number one, Imam is writing to his companion, this very sincere friend and follower of Imam. His name is Harith al-Hamdani. He said that, Harith, إياك ومقاعد الأسواق. Make sure that you don't spend your time just sitting on the aswaq. Aswaq is jama' suq. Suq means bazaar, means like a marketplace. And aswaq is plural of suq. So they call it suq because in Arabic, as-sawq means to mobilize something, to gather. And as-suq comes from as-sawq because the market is a place that people are mobilized, they gather there. So for that reason, it is a location with a huge traffic of people. That's the reason they call it suq. People, they like to go to the suq, and they suq means like moved and mobilized there. The same thing, al-mal, wealth in Arabic called mal, amwal, coming from mail, الناس يتمايلون, the people desire to material. So al-mail means desire. So mal means something desirable that people usually, they like to have money, they want to have health and wealth. So that is part of their desire. They call it a mail. A suq, the same thing, coming from, even the hadith called the entire dunya a suq, means the entire world is like a market. ربح فيها قوم وخسر فيها آخرون. This is a market that some people in this world, in this life, they are winners and some people are losers. So Imam is saying that don't spend your time in aswaq. It doesn't mean that you don't go shopping, right? I mean, you have to go shopping, get food and clothes and medicine and water. I mean, this is something that you need to go to the suq. That is good for shopping. But you don't want to go and spend the entire time in suq, that sit in the mall and watch people. And Imam is saying that the aswaq are mahadir shaitan, is the place of presence of shaitan. So when you choose a market as like a settlement that you want to go there and you sit down there, remember that you get distracted. So don't spend time for that. I mean, even people who do business in the market, they are in danger, right? Because, you know, al-bay' wa tijara, when people shopping and selling and, you know, they want to make business, they are very close to shaitan too, right? Because they want to get more money and they want to give less quality and get more money. So shaitan is very close to them. So they are very close to al-mughabana, means ghabna. You know, they want to make people maghboon, like they want to cheat, right? Of course, those who are not faithful. No, but this is why in our tradition, the ahadith telling us al-fiqh thumma al-matjar. Means if you want to go to matjar, if you're going to tijara, right? If you're going to do business, you need to know fiqh, you need to know the ahkam, you need to know the jurisprudence, you need to know the morality of business before you start a business. Because if there is no morality, then it's very dangerous. This is why the Quran says, رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. It's very important to be Rijalullah, to be people of God, to the sense that tijar and bay' means the business doesn't distract you. It's very important that the business doesn't distract you from dhikr Allah, from remembrance of Allah. And that is a big credit for people who are very, very faithful. And this is not something like simple. You know, there is a verse in Surah Al-Jum'ah. It says that on وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً أَوْ لَهْوًا انفذوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. This shows that one day the Prophet, peace be upon him, he is leading Friday prayer in the masjid, and the companions of the Prophet, they are yusallun, they are praying with the Prophet, but all of a sudden they hear that the caravan is coming and making noise and coming from Sham or somewhere. While they are praying with people, they left the prayer, they left the masjid, and they rush toward this business and caravan. And Quran says, shame. وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً أَوْ لَهْوًا انفَذُّوا إِلَيْهَا. They left the Prophet and they rushed towards the business. The masjid was full of people. And Jabir is saying that only 12 people stayed with the Prophet, only 12 people. The rest of them left the mosque. And the Quran condemns that action, is saying that, how come you are in the mosque to remember God, and now you heard about the business, you left the Prophet, you left the mosque, and you rushed the business? This is why it is very, very dangerous when you go to market. It's a dangerous area. Of course now, you know, the market, if you go to Target or you go to Meyer or, you know, this thing, everything is fixed now. They, after like 2,000 years now, finally fixed it in somehow. Still there are some cheating here and there. But even now, if you go to ordinary places that they are not fixed, like even you go to New York, lots of these shops that they are selling stuff, they may cheat you, right? If they know that you don't know the price, you don't know the details, it's gonna be mughabana, maghboon. They are going to cheat because it is about money, it was material. Shaitan is very, very close. Al-aswaqu mawatinu iblis wa jundu. So the Satan himself and his army, they are mobilized to target people in the market. So Imam Ali says, Ya Harith, iyaka wa maqa'id al-aswaq, فإنها محاضر الشيطان. Don't just go there and sit down in the market, even in the mall. I mean, you are sitting there and the shaitan is, starting playing with, your mind, and people are trafficking. Oh, look at this boy, look at that girl, and look at this, and look at that. And all of a sudden, you don't know when it's going to end. So one of the areas that the Satan is using to approach us and to destroy us is al-aswaq. If you are not careful, the souk, the market, can be a place that put us in danger. Of course, we know that the shaitan is using many other places. Shaitan is using many other tools to target anybody who is vulnerable and weak. And you may have many other areas. I mean, the media is one of the areas that the shaitan can fool us through the media, right? And now using the social network and internet and email and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and everything now. These are all tools that can be used by angels and bring guidance and light. I mean, it's so easy now. You want to do Salatul Rahim with your family, with your friend, to say salam, to say how are you. I mean, it's amazingly this miracle of science, this digital life. It made it so easy for you to do thawab. You can use this, go to Jannah, to heaven. But at the same time, the same instrument can be so dangerous and take us to hell. So aswaq is one of them. That means the market, the malls, the movies, the media. What else you think can be used as a tool for the shaitan to destroy us? Any idea? Yes.
The people control the stock market, and the people who do trade on the internet and all these things. I have witnessed people losing billions of dollars like that in days. So some countries are marginalized other countries, and they do monopoly on the currency.
The banking system too, right? And that is a big area of exploitation, right? Yeah. Islam, what did you say, David?
We didn't hear the question. Or just
Yeah. Right. I mean, he's talking about different tools used by shaitan. One of them market, one of them is banking system, and those capitalists and money mongering, lovers of money. What, Islam, you have to say?
Employment.
Employment.
Working, the job. You're in the job market.
Yeah, job. I mean, depends on job. Job can be used as a tool of shaitan. What else? I mean, it doesn't have to be something external. Our family, shaitan can use our family to destroy us, right? I mean, the parents can destroy their children can destroy their parents. Wife to husband, husband to wife. I mean, your money can destroy you. I mean, the things that we are so passionate and so attached to, that can destroy us. Your friends, I mean, you know better that the pressure of friends and the size of destruction, alcohol, drugs, suicide, getting totally lost, gambling, going all those different destructive, dangerous directions all over by friends. So shaitan can use our friends, shaitan can use TV, shaitan can use media, shaitan can use family, shaitan can use even the Quran, remember, right? Can, like ISIS say, oh, God said in the Quran, like, قاتلوهم, kill them. Using the Quran. Shaitan can use even Nahj al-Balagha, right? This is Imam Ali said, getting something out of context and destroy people. And this is why we need so much awareness. Today I had a meeting for 3 hours, like 4 or 5 interfaith people. They were in our office here. And we're talking about really fears in the community. What are your fears? What are your concerns? What are your challenges? What are the things that you are afraid of? What are our problems? How we can solve these issues? Why there is so much ignorance? Why there is so much accusation? Oh, Sharia law, Sharia law. I mean, there was a big demonstration last Saturday. Ban Sharia, ban Sharia. What do you mean by Sharia? Where is Sharia? I mean, if there is any place, it should be Dearborn, right? They are saying Dearborn is the center of Sharia law. Where is it that we never saw the Sharia in Dearborn, right? I mean, there are bars in Dearborn, or there like gambling, there are all these, night places and all. Is this Sharia law? I mean, show me one person or one clergy in the United States say, we want to have Sharia law in the United States. I never saw such a person. Did you ever saw any sheikh, any sayyid, any like imam, anyone in the country to say that we want Sharia law? This is fake news, right? I mean, Trump said fake news, but this is the real fake news. I mean, Sharia law is a fake news. Nobody said it. But all of a sudden, you see 30 cities in the United States, they mobilized last Saturday, demonstration, ban Sharia law, ban Sharia law, ban something that doesn't even exist. Oh, all of a sudden, you worried about Sharia law? So why you are dancing with the Saudis? They are the source of that Sharia law that you are talking about. Then you should be worried about Saudis, like the kingdom, but you are hugging them and you are kissing them and you are exchanging, hugs with them, and you say, oh, all of a sudden bin Salman said, Trump is a true friend of Muslims. Did you hear this guy said that? The prince of Saudi is the son of the king. He said, Trump is the true friend of Muslim. So if you have such a loving relationship, then why you are afraid of Sharia? Because that is the source of so-called Sharia. That's not even true Sharia, but that's like they call it. So you should be worried about that. You should ban those guys. But you have no problem with that, and you are banning some people that, have no idea of what you call Sharia. It's good that in this country, there are people that they are understanding and they know the facts. 129 organizations, non-Muslim organizations, last Saturday, they issued a statement and they asked all the mayors of cities of United States to stop those fake slogans of ban Sharia law that doesn't exist, to stop those marches. And they defended the dignity of a Muslim faith. These are kind of communication that we need to promote. Otherwise, in general, Shaitan is using all these instruments. So media, family, friends, money, all these instruments are used, can be used, and one of the places is Maqa'idul Aswaq. Imam Ali is saying, Harith, stay away from going and sitting in the malls and watching people. That is destructive and that is dangerous. So, فإنها محاضر الشيطان ومعارض الفتن. Then Imam says, يا حارث وأكثر أن تنظر إلى من فضلت عليه فإن ذلك من أبواب الشكر. When you are dealing with people, don't look at those people who have more money than you, or they are in a higher position, or they have more material. Because if you look at those people, you may start feeling jealousy and feeling down that, oh, look at this guy, he has a house and has big car and big account, and I don't have any of this. So you break yourself psychologically. When it comes to material, Don't look at those people who are higher than you. Look at those people who are less than you, less fortunate. They have less money and they sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. أكثر أن تنظر إلى من فضلت عليه. If you want to look, if you want to watch, if you want to reflect, do it on those people that they have less than you in material, not those who have more than you, because then it's a competition and it is dangerous for you. But when it comes to spirituality, to knowledge, to education, yes, look at people higher than you. In material, look at people down, those who are less than you. But when it comes to intellectual, educational, the spiritual world, then look at people who are higher than you. Then you can improve yourself. Prophet, peace be upon him, said, Alamatu Sa'ada Arba'a. There are 4 signs of Sa'ada, happiness and prosperity and success, salvation. Dhikr al-dhunub al-madhiya, always focus on the mistakes that you made in the past, so you make sure that you don't repeat those mistakes. وَالنِّسْيَانُ الْحَسَنَاتِ, if you did good things, don't remember those, oh, I did this and I did that and I donated here and I donated that and I saved this guy and I helped that guy, and then make yourself too big. So forget about the things that you did, your services, your contributions. Don't let that make you arrogant. Number 3, وَنَذَرُهُ إِلَى مَنْ هُوَ فَوْقَهُ فِي الدِّينِ. Look at those people who have more iltizam, more commitment, more courage, more contribution. So you are encouraged to be like them. وَإِلَى مَنْ هُوَ دُونَهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا. But those who are less than you when it comes to dunya, those who are more than you when you look at the akhirah. So this makes you, Imam Ali is saying that, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَبْوَابِ الشُّكْرِ. Because when you look at someone, I mean, look at the refugees, look people in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, no security, no service, no sovereignty, no food, no fruit, no water, no medicine, no nothing. And then you have this peace and quietness and beautiful friendship, togetherness. You had your siyam, you have your iftar. And you said, shukran lak, nashkur Allah. Because you look at those people who, but if you look at, Trump, oh, how many hotels and $4 billion and $5 billion and, you don't want to have that haram money, do you? I mean, this guy goes Saudi, oh, I got $110 billion. That's the total money is haram. So I don't want to have that $110 billion. Keep it for yourself. Imam Ali is saying that when you look at the things this way, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَبْوَابِ الشُّكْرِ. And this is what we need as Muslims, that كُنْ فِي السَّرَّاءِ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا وَفِي الضَّرَّاءِ عَبْدًا صَبُورًا. When you are prosperous, when there is pleasure, when things are okay in your life, show appreciation, show gratitude to God. Time of surur, time of happiness and joy. وَفِي الذَّرَّاءِ, when there is dharra, when there is khasara, when there is a pain, when there is sadness, when there is loss, kun abdan sabura, show patience. So these are 2 duties, that at the time of prosperity, show appreciation, and at the time of loss and problems, show patience. Because both pain and pleasure can be tools of test. Allah tests us sometime through prosperity, and sometimes He tests us through pain and problems. So inshallah we continue this letter, and let us have more time for our great public speaker that we really enjoy his lecture. If Mahdi, you have any announcement to say, and welcome our speaker to continue another night. We are going to get ready for tomorrow night, inshallah, the last night of power. Be ready, have some rest, inshallah, if you can. So that is the last chance for this Ramadan of Night of Power. Of course, the service, the activities will continue. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Before we begin the program, if I could ask everybody to just shift forward so that we can have an energetic environment, inshallah, brothers and sisters. Please move forward so that we can empty out the seats in the back. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Just a few reminders before we get started with the lecture tonight. Tomorrow, we have the iftar dinner being held here at the Islamic House of Wisdom. If you're interested in purchasing any tickets or sponsoring the dinner, please see the front desk. Also, if you'd like to make a donation or become a sustaining member of the masjid or make a charitable contribution in the memory of a loved one, please fill out memberships forms that can be found in the front, and there are baskets on the way out. If you'd like to make a contribution, that would be much appreciated. Brothers and sisters, as we know, Nabi Yunus was sent by Allah as a messenger in order to guide people. And the community that he was sent to was filled with idol worshippers. And he encouraged them to come towards the right path, come and believe in Allah, but they persisted in ignorance. And so Nabi Yunus said, you know what, I'm going to let them be, and he left. Quran says, إِذْ أَبَقَ إِلَى الْفُلْكِ الْمَشْحُونِ. He left and he set sail on a ship. He set sail on a ship with a couple other passengers, and you know, the weather was good at first, but as they set sail, the weather changed. Dark clouds started to emerge, the current started to get more wavy, and the passengers on the ship started to get more worried. So as a custom, as a tradition, what they would do is they would now throw things overboard. So they begin throwing things overboard, items are getting thrown over, and they see that no, the weather is still persistent and the ship is still unstable. So now, according to their customs, what they would do is write names, and the person's name that gets drawn, now they get thrown overboard. And so they write the names down and they pull the first name, and sure enough, Nabi Yunus's name gets pulled. But you know, it's interesting because the people understood that, you know, Nabi Yunus was a pious man. So we'll let this one go and let's pull another name. So they pull it a second time and Nabi Yunus's name gets pulled again. And then a third time and his name gets pulled again. And after this they realize, you know what, it's destined for Nabi Yunus to get thrown over. And so they throw Nabi Yunus over. And it was the will of Allah to have a whale ready to swallow him. And as soon as this happened, Nabi Yunus realized he should supplicate, and he began to say, La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimeen. There is no God but you, pure are you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers. And Allah responds, so we responded to him and rescued him from the distress, and this is how we rescue the believers. Now, what I think is more interesting about this story is Allah continues to mention this. Allah says, had he not supplicated in the belly of the whale, he would have remained inside its belly until the day of resurrection. This emphasizes on this power of supplication. That if Nabi Yunus didn't supplicate, he would still be in that whale's belly until today, and furthermore until the day of judgment. Brothers and sisters, I noticed that sometimes I and others, some people say, you know, since I missed the first 20 nights of the Ramadan program, you know, there's no point of coming the last 10 days. Inshallah, I'll come next year. Or since I've missed my prayers, then what's the point of fasting? On the other hand, there are people that say, since I'm already smoking, right, then let me try drugs. Why is it in making mistakes we justify digging deeper holes for ourselves, but when it comes to the straight path, we discourage ourselves? Brothers and sisters, don't be shy to supplicate and to remember Allah, for His kingdom is vast, and that Him granting your wishes will not lessen His bounty. Continue your participation in these programs for the remainder of Ramadan, as Ramadan will continue even after tomorrow. Ramadan doesn't end with the great night of power tomorrow, brothers and sisters. The programs will continue going for another 10 nights. Inshallah, you will join us for those nights with our beautiful guest speaker, his powerful words of wisdom. I don't want to take any more time, so without any further ado, I'd like to welcome him to the podium with Allah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق ونور عرش أفضل الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيبنا وسيدنا وسندنا وشفيعنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين. I begin in Allah's name, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with this life and given us the opportunity to represent Him on this earth, not because He needs representation, but the fact that He has put us on earth due to His infinite mercy. The only reason Allah created us on this earth is because of His mercy. And He keeps us alive because of His mercy. He tests us because of His mercy. He punishes because of His mercy, and He rewards because of His mercy. And we will continue to exist in the next world because of His mercy, because eternity is not within the realm of the finite. The finite being, which you and I are, the universe is finite. It doesn't have the capacity for eternity. It doesn't have the notion of infinity. Infinity is only possible with the one who is infinite. Otherwise, it's impossible. A finite entity cannot perpetually exist infinitely. It's absurd. So even our existence, when we were nothing before, is impossible unless there is a being who was always there. This is the basic principle of what we call wajibul wujud in Arabic, meaning the necessary being, the one who was always existent. For if we look at a domino, and if we have an infinite set of dominoes, and we live on this earth, in the universe, in fact, with the understanding on the basis, the principle of cause and effect. Everything is an effect that is caused, and we cause effects. We are the effect of our past causes, and we will cause effects. When we have children, when we transact, when we do good, when we do evil, we cause effects. We can't avoid it. And we are a product of past causes. So our parents, produced us, who were produced by their parents, but it always had a start. And the question is, if there was a start, which is logical, then who started it? How did it start? If the notion, as Bertrand Russell stipulates, that since everything is created by a God, then who created God? This premise is an essential question, but we argue that if God had a God who created Him, then you have a problem called infinite regression problem. It's a problem where you say, well, then that God needed a God, who needed a God, who needed a God. Then the mind says, well, in that case, then there is an infinity of gods waiting to be created, and the only rational effect is that nothing can exist. Because if everything is waiting to be created and pushed, it's like that infinite set of dominoes, where there is no first domino to push, but every domino is waiting for the preceding domino to push it, then no domino can fall. But we're here. We do exist. We're going somewhere. And the logic there is very rational, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing to us that were He not to be the one to create, then how would you exist? Can something come from nothing with nothing by nothing? It's absurd. So we basically state that from nothing comes nothing. So only a being can create us. What's fascinating is when I have my debates with atheists, they say a God cannot always exist, but they have no problem with the universe always existing, which is kind of double standard. If you say, well, a God cannot always exist, but they have no problem with the universe always existing, then I argue, well, then the universe also should not always exist. How does it have an eternity? Time, matter, space are all finite entities. They all have a start and they all have an end. Time, for example, when we say eternity, it's a concept of time, but even time within eternity doesn't make sense because time is finite, it's not infinite. We know that because we can segment it, we can define it. Remember, infinite entity cannot be defined. But a finite entity, not only can it be defined, it can be divided, it can be multiplied. So you can accelerate in time. See, time has a quality, it has a speed, right? Time-space continuum. You find that when you take time and you divide it into seconds, milliseconds, parsecs, whatever, it's a finite entity. So time is definitely not the infinite entity. And the interesting thing is that when we talk about infinite, you can't have more than one. Infinite is only one. There's no such thing as two infinities, nor can you divide infinity. So what is this infinite entity that gives credibility to everything that's finite? You see, that gives everything you and I have value, that even our value system is built on infinity. Let me give you an example. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
If somebody said to you, do good and I'll reward you. You said, okay, what's my reward? Typically we go to work, we make a salary. But we know that salary will not sustain us for life. We have to keep working to keep, aiming for more salary to sustain ourselves because we're spending. But when there's a reward given that's lasting, that has an everlasting quality, we would say that's the greatest reward. Something where you invest a little, but the return has a lasting quality. It gives you these dividends for life. It's the best investment. But if someone was to tell you that that dividend will stop in 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000 years, assuming we could live 1,000,000 years, we would say, okay, but I'm going to be afraid because on the 1,000,000th year, it's going to stop. So I have to plan for a succession. I need something else now after the 1,000,000 years. You notice the fascinating value system that's entirely pegged on the infinite notion. Amazing. So, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about paradise, and He says, when you do good, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ النَّعِيمِ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. Right? وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٍّ. You will remain, abadan, Quran says, you will remain in it forever. Imagine if Allah says, do good, struggle on this earth, but you will live for 1,000,000,000 years, and then you will cease to exist. You won't be there anymore. You will vanish. You will vaporize. You, the person, will no longer be the way you were. Think about it. I mean, just ponder, okay? هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Has mankind taken account that there was a time they were not worthy of being mentioned? هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. إن خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه. We created mankind from a clot to test them. Allah is telling me, I have honored you with existence. You were not worthy of being mentioned. Talk to a parent who hasn't delivered a child yet. The child is not even forming in the womb of its mother. And talk to the mother about that child. She'll say, there's something wrong with you. You're fantasizing. Start honoring that child. The parents will say, you're fantasizing. You're insulting me. It doesn't exist. Notice that. But when the child comes into formation and it's born, there is nothing more pleasurable for the parent and the child but to focus on it, on this being. It becomes so important that our entire life changes directions to sustain this one child that has come into our lives. Where children now dictate the future of how we're going to live forever. And how much does a parent want that child to live? For 1,000 years? Ask them. They said, no, I want my child, like me, to exist forever. The foreverness is what gives value to all the moral arguments. This is why when I challenge atheists, I say the difference between you and the theist is the theist considers value in the infinite trajectory. The atheist considers value in the finite trajectory. And when you put the two together, you can't compare. The latter, the atheistic one, is bankrupt. If I say to you, do good, amazing, but then when you die, you disappear. And what about me? It just goes away. All my deeds? Yeah. Everything you construct, it just goes, you disappear, and whatever is out there in the system of karma, it just regenerates, but you are no longer important. You are insignificant. Do you realize what you just did to that person? You killed the momentum of that individual by telling them you are absolutely hopeless, because even it's like go to school, get your degree, work very hard, then when you receive a diploma, there's a shredder, you're going to put it in there. Okay? That's what you're being told. Just think of the value system, just alone. When we talk about Allah, this is not some concoction. This is a reality on the basis of value. And it's impossible to have that value without a divine being. The necessity of Allah is so fundamental that you take that out of the equation, my entire value system falls apart. And here's the consequence. If I say there is no Allah, okay, I don't have to be good. Maybe I want to be. But there's no reason for me to be evil like Stalin or Hitler, to go and murder as many people as possible, because the basic principles of science states that survival of the fittest is what counts. Whoever is the strongest, eliminate the weak link. Take that animal that's born with a disease, let it be devoured by another animal so it does not procreate and make a copy of itself. That's modern biological science. If I took my value systems that way, I'd say a hospital spends $1 million per room to sustain one sick person who's potentially very old, and you know by the laws of science that old person is not going to regenerate and rejuvenate and come back into society to contribute in any way, shape, or form. And therefore, wisdom dictates from that premise that we should eliminate that individual because it's costing us too much resource and money. SubhanAllah. You will see the entire moral system flips on its head if we follow empirical science. Now, empirical science is following a very good system, but we do not derive moral arguments from empirical science. You can't. Animals eat each other in the system. Although there's a good moral system when we talk about it within their own system, but you will see morality is actually the opposite, where you care for the needy, you care for the sick, and there's value there. You see? So if I use just the atheistic argument of limited time space, where there is no God who has created me so I'm just a product of an accident, my deeds are also accidental. Now imagine somebody offering you something good, any moment they'll flip, because in their mindset, they are not liable, there is no oversight, there's no one watching, and there is no day of judgment. You know how dangerous that being can be morally? Deadly. Deadly. If you really look deep into it, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He says to us that you have been honored as mankind, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says very elegantly. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Surah Al-Hashr, verse number 70. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. Subhanallah. كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. And we have certainly honored the children of Adam and carried them on the land and sea and provided for them of the good things and preferred them over much of what we have created with preference. تَفْضِيلًا. أفضل. What makes us afdal? There's that moral system where you and I do something, it's pegged in my mind that this effect that I'm causing is a forever effect. There's something magnificent about that. Now if someone was to say, okay, we'll put you in paradise for 1 billion years. Say, oh God, come on. Billion? Okay, 1 trillion. Too short. Quadrillion. Quadrillion? It's a long time. But you know how time can stop. Pentillion. Stop? Hexillion? Septillion? Octillion? Which one do you want? Keep going. At the end of a finite number, it becomes death. It's okay, for an octillion years, you will survive, have fun, but the octillionth year, you will cease to exist. Something incredible touches us. in relations to time, it looks long, but actually holistically just dies. That's why Quran uses, that the day of judgment is like 50,000, 50,000 sana. One day is like 50,000. Allah says it's not about the length of time, it's the value in time. You have forgotten that piece. And then when we look at this value, Allah says, do you realize the infinite value you have achieved and possessed by me creating you? That you are now within my rahmah. You are within my rahmah at such a level that your rahmah, my rahmah, continues to perpetuate your existence forever. That means that you and I, when we get rewarded for finite deeds, think about it. Just a short period of time on this earth, very short. And we do good, even maybe for a day. You know how merciful Allah is? Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. When you do good, you wipe off your bad. Why is God telling me this? He said, examine the existence of the universe. There are two potential capacities, possibilities. Subhanalladhi khalaqa al-azwaja kullaha mimma tunbitul ard. Here, of course, Allah is talking about pairs, but philosophically it's got what we call opposites. In science, we study them. When I bring forth an argument, it's a thesis. But for every thesis, there is an antithesis. Everything. God exists? Well, God doesn't exist. I exist? Well, maybe you don't exist. I like? Well, maybe you don't like. There is good? Well, maybe it's not good. There's always an opposite. Thesis, antithesis. Don't forget. It's an amazing creation. It's brilliant. Every time I think about this, honor Allah has put us in this universe with a spectacular system. It's mind-boggling. Now, when you put a thesis forth, there's an antithesis. But the real test on Judgment Day is the synthesis, where you take the thesis, the pro and the con, and you bring them together. And what we call the combination is called synthesis. That is what's really under judgment on Judgment Day. Did you measure yourself? And Allah says, but examine the synthesis. Is it wrong? Is anything wrong about it? We say, well, let's look at death. People are born, they get killed, they get maimed, they get mutilated, they get tortured. I mean, it's better they didn't exist. Brothers and sisters, I promise us, if you take into the equation the eternal existence, if you and I were tortured and butchered for a long period of time, for that eternal existence, it does not equate in value, because the existence from non-existence to have an eternal existence is such a rahmah. Whatever happens in between is just a blip in the radar. We're forgetting that. So let's not be disappointed. No matter what happens, Allah says, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every self will taste death. Oh, Ya Allah, we love you. Why this? Maut. Someone dies, Actually, death is a gift. It's a blessing. We depart for a better life. But we don't understand that. And the reason we don't like it is because it's unknown. We're afraid. Will we fail this test? That fear is good. Having fear of failure is a good thing, so that we tighten our belt and we become good. It's good. But do we really take to task the rahmah? I think the reason most people on earth are lethargic or ambivalent about religion, where we have apathy in faith, where we don't really care, we shrug our shoulders. Really? I'm supposed to do this? I don't know, maybe. I'll think about it. It's because we have not taken our existence in its proper value. If you and I do, and we touch that nerve, I promise you and I will be so animated, we won't stop doing good. The problem is we're not touching it. We're not feeling the pulse. That's really the problem. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Hashr, verse 21. This is the month of Ramadan. And this was an introduction. I won't take more of your time, it's late. I feel very very heavy, burdening you with these lectures, honestly. I feel like, it's 11:30, 11:15, and it's late. You've been fasting, we've all been fasting for 17, 18, 19 hours. We're exhausted, and Fajr starts at 4 in the morning, so oh my God, I hardly get a chance to even, go out there and chill and relax. Well, I don't want to tax you, so I'd like to keep this short and simple to the point. But I want to inspire us, and I don't want to lose the opportunity in these blessed months, the month of reflection. And even 10 minutes, even that 22-minute magical number that TED Talk says is the most effective period of time to deliver a presentation, I try to keep it within 22 minutes. People say, what? We're not used to that. We need 45 minutes to 1 hour. I said, okay, it's good. But perfection in delivery of message should be boiled down to 15, 20 minutes. I think if we can keep it effective, to the point, you walk out of here zapped with some solid energy, divine energy, I think it's more efficient. And of course, the dhikr, to listen to lectures, and to do tadabbur and fikr, and to think, and to get involved in this conversation is always a blessing too. But forgive me if I'm being succinct. It's because I really feel that a little dose is enough. And quantity of people, by the way, in a crowd, some people wonder, we need big crowds, more people need to come. I never really cared about crowds. If crowds were important, then those who don't speak the whole truth wouldn't have gotten the crowds. There are some people who fill stadiums, 50, 60, 100,000 people, and that doesn't make them right. I think in their own rights, it's good what they're doing. But Abu Dhar, who was a companion of the Prophet, died in the desert of Rabda, and there was no one even to bury him, right? Malik al-Ashtar and Hujr ibn Adi were traveling, and they stopped and they buried him. So let's not fool ourselves. What we need to do is to say to ourselves, Ya Allah, in this month, crowd or no crowd, inspire me. Because there's one thing that's most important, I keep repeating it. Allah says, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, alaykum anfusakum. Take care of yourself. Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nar. Or you who believe, take care of yourselves and your family from that fire. Because I have blessed you too much, I have honored you too much, and I have given you existence which will perpetuate forever. And for a small little good that you will do on this earth, I will reward you forever. Children who die in the wombs of their mothers are given paradise. Animals will exist in paradise. Insects will exist in paradise. Do you know that? Their own paradise. They will have their own status of eternal existence, because Allah is that merciful. Allah just didn't create a few creatures in this vast universe and says, okay, you all will live forever because my treasury is only so much. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's treasury is infinite. And for Him to perpetually create forever never exhausts. Nothing. Allah says, تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي بِيَدِهِ الْمُلْكِ. Blessed is He who has everything. The universe is His. هُوَ الْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ وَالظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ. He is the beginning, the end. Everything that you and I can imagine in the modes of perfection, it's Allah. And by the way, if I remove Allah from that picture, I have a desire for perfection. It's innate in us. Even atheists have it. Even those who don't believe in Allah have it. But if you don't have a template, if you don't have a goal in your mind, how do you achieve it? If there is no God in your vision, then how do you achieve it? If there is no God in my vision, and I believe that I'm going to die and become nothing, why should I do good to begin with? And even when I do good while I'm alive, it's valueless in its real principles because it's very utilitarian for a short period of time. So imagine if somebody does something good. It's like, imagine love relations. Pure love relations should aim towards eternity. I have couples who say, well, I'm with my wife, but when I die, she can stay behind because, I'm planning to go somewhere else. That's not real love. Like the wife says, really? You're going to be in paradise with me? Ya Allah, I don't want that. Right? I said, come on, stop. I know this is a joke, but the point is, like the Prophet said, Khadija and I will be in paradise together. Now that's love. Imam Ali and Fatima al-Zahra, salamullahi alayhi, will be in paradise together. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah has honored us too much. If I ask any one of us right now, what do you think of angels? You say, angels? We use that metaphor. Brother, sister, you're an angel. Now, when we say that, what does it mean? It means we honor you too much. You are so honorable. This person is an angel, is angelic. Wow, really? You know, put a halo on them. We say, okay, this is an angel. So in all our minds, we do believe they are great beings. Why? They submit to Allah. They're truthful. They're made of light. They guide. They do Allah's work. Look at the rahmah, the holistic rahmah. Allah told those beings that you and I honor to bow to us. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. And when Allah said to the angels, I am going to place on earth my representative. And Allah commanded them to bow. The angels were surprised. Bow to this being who will reject you, who will cause bloodshed, who will deny you. It's true. The world is quite filled with people who are confused. Allah says, إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. I know that which you don't know. I think about that. I said, yeah, Allah, I look in the mirror and said, you honored me? I mean, in my mind, that angel, Jibreel, I would tremble if he came in front of me. I would melt if Jibreel spoke to me, says, I'm Jibreel, my heart would melt. Wallahi, it would melt. If you and I could just see him, we would melt. It's a creation. Can you imagine they were commanded to bow to us, our forefather? Why? Let's not forget, there's something you and I have that is so high. If we harness it, the angels will bear witness. We understood why we bowed. But let us not lower ourselves lower than animals, for we have that. Allah said, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We created mankind in the best of forms. ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. We lowered mankind to the lowest of the low. That potential of being higher than angels, lower than animals, is within us. And I love this potential. I'd rather have this broad potential and let me maximize it in the positive than be limited in potential, only to have a limited power to maneuver myself. God said, I honored you so much that the swing of your potential is so wide, you see, that you can be above angels or you can be lower than an animal. God says, now come to me. Allahu Akbar. So this ayah I end with tonight. Allah in Surah Al-Hashr says, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. Were we to reveal this Quran, this is a metaphor, and I end with this. If we had sent down this Quran upon a mountain, you would have seen it humbled and crumbled in the fear of God. خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. Now, why is Allah using the metaphor of a mountain? Mountain, by the way, has a conscience. It recognizes Allah. But it cannot talk to us. It cannot tell us. It's within its own capacity, in its own existence, capable of recognizing Allah. But the metaphor here, the Quran is basically stating, what do you think, O humans, when you see mountains? You know, this person's like a mountain, the rock of Gibraltar. This guy's solid. This metaphor of values implies you're strong. You know, qawi, shuja'a, strong, right? Intrepid in English. That's why Quran says, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل. If we were to reveal it on this mountain, it would crumble with humbleness. So you and I think we're strong, you know, with stiff necks and flexed biceps, right? We think we're strong. We can stand here with our chests extended. We're cool. Allah says, if I reveal this Quran on a mountain, it will crumble. How little you take it as value. Tomorrow I'll discuss its value. It is so powerful. How do we talk to the Quran? What verses do I focus on when I read this ocean of knowledge? How do I reach that maximum potential? The one that's in me that led to these angels to bow to my forefathers and me. What is it that I have? How important am I? that these angels acknowledge my existence. God says, you have no idea. And guess what? When I created you, I gave you eternal existence. You will never cease to exist. Ever. Even if you end up in hell, God forbid, you will never cease to exist. That eternity, I want us to think about it tonight. When we do tasbih, when we say subhanallah, astaghfirullah, when you and I recite all of this, look what the next verse says. I end with this, I promise you. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. Verse number 22. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. The next 3 verses, back to back. He is Allah, other than whom there is no deity, nor the unseen and the witnessed. He is the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. He is Allah, other than whom there is no God, the sovereign, the pure, the perfection, the bestower of faith, the overseer, the exalted in might, the compeller, the superior. Exalted is Allah above whatever they associate with Him. He is Allah. Allah, by the way, means the God. If you go to church, Christian church, you'll hear the name Allah all the time. So Allah is not a Muslim God. It is the God. The creator, the inventor, the fashioner. To Him belongs the best names. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth exalts Him. He is the exalted in the might, the wise. You know, He is exalted, undoubtedly. But you and I are His creation. What about us? Don't you think we're exalted too? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. My respected brothers and sisters, let's go home and ponder how exalted we are. والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.